you hear that? I hear a man's voice. Somebody might call us here, dude. What was that? What was that? Okay, let's go check it out. Come on. Yeah, we're going to check it out.
Brushy Mountain State Penitentiary in Morgan County held some of the worst criminals in Tennessee.
When I first come in those big steel doors out there, I thought to myself, what have I done? And I literally thought I would die right here at Brushy Mountain Prison. The most violent place in Tennessee you could be. Brushy Mountain has a history. There's been many of them get killed.
First time I investigated here was back in 2017. They had been a group of us here that night, and everyone had left but 3 of us. And we were going to actually spend the night here. We were in the cafeteria filming, and I was standing along the wall in the lunch line, just pointing my camera towards the back wall. We hear a man's voice come from the hallway out where the cell block is. Simultaneous with that, it sounded like a cell door slammed shut. And as we were reacting to that, you see on camera this black mass, looked like a hunchback, essentially, just go between the columns. And you could tell it wasn't a shadow casted by us because it was behind 2 of the columns in the cafeteria. And it was like it was hiding and sneaking from one to the other, trying not to be seen. I didn't see it at the moment. As when I was doing the editing afterwards, I saw that and I'm like, wait, what is this? We are going to start it off here in the cafeteria where a lot of reports of paranormal activities happened. So we're going to film in here. We're going to ask some questions. I heard something back that way. Dude, you hear that talk? You hear that? I hear a man's voice. Somebody might call us here, dude. What was that? One night about 9 months ago, me and another fellow was here investigating by ourselves overnight, and we were in the auditorium. And so we hear a noise come from the stairwell, so we go to investigate that and find nothing's there. And we proceed to go back to the auditorium to continue our investigation. And it wasn't long till we hear a loud, what sounded like a cell door slamming shut. So immediately we run right out into the cell block area. Every door in that entire cell block had somehow closed while we were investigating, and that was a pretty cool piece of evidence we got that night. Is there anyone here with us? What was that? Okay, it sounds like something dragging. Are you Leroy? Leroy, is that you? I hear voices. I hear footsteps too. Is this the last place you was at on death row? Something's dragging. Look at this. There is an actual scorpion. Oh, is it alive? No, it's dead. Scorpion's dead. You experience being touched a lot all throughout the property. Shadows out of the corner of your eye you see moving around. One of the most intense moments that ever happened to me is I was in the area they call D block. And I was in the first level, the bottom level. I was completely alone. And it sounded like heavy footsteps on the floor above me. So naturally, I go upstairs to investigate. And as I step through the threshold into the cell block, it was, I guess the best way to describe it is like I hit a block wall. It's like something hit me. And I couldn't breathe. I couldn't see good. I felt weak. I felt like I was going to pass out. I'm even getting chills thinking about it. I've been investigating for years, and that was the first time that I had to actually flee a situation like that. It felt like something was attacking me and something really, really bad was about to happen. And it felt dark. Hopefully I never experienced that again, but as an investigator, it's a personal experience, you can validate it, but it was definitely an unnerving moment. I had to actually leave. I exited the building in a panic. It's the closest thing I can imagine what a panic attack would be like. There is something dark over there because a lot of people do talk about that. The cafeteria has been a very active place for me. Of course, the auditorium is somewhere I kind of anymore shy away from going alone. It's just a really dark energy there, and it feels pretty powerful. One night, me and some of the ladies here were all in the hall, and a friend of mine was standing there, and a voice just came in between us. It was so loud. I'd never heard, a disembodied voice that loud. I look at him, and he looks at me, and we both just had that confused look like, did you just say that? And it wasn't any of us. Definitely the hall and the auditorium and the cafeteria are the hot spots. But the D block, anytime I'm over there, you just get that skin crawling feeling. That place really kind of wigs me out a little bit. You had people who were evil. You had people who were good. You had people who were murdered in these walls. And when all that different kind of energy is here, I really believe you have residual here, obviously. You have people who are here most of their lives, and they walk the same paths every day. So, they leave that energy behind. But I do believe there's dark energy here and, intelligent spirits here as well.
Coal mines here in the area where they were bringing in inmates and they were taking these coal miners' jobs. And so there was like a little civil war that broke out here. And it was called the Coal Creek War. They knew that we had coal here in the mountains. They knew that it was some of the richest coal seams in the state, and they wanted that coal. Our family put it in a 99-year lease in 1894. They built the prison in 1896. These men mined the coal. They had to get a quota every day. If they weren't getting that day's quota, they were whipped. And so a lot of these men were whipped. A lot of them lost their lives to whippings. A lot of men died of illnesses. Early on, these men weren't hardened criminals. A lot of our men were put in here and their crimes were lying. One was in here for dancing under the influence of spirit. There was a black man in here for sassing a white man. We found a 10-year-old that was in here for stealing bread. He wasn't the only child. We had the children of Brushy is what they were called, and they were 13 and under. A lot of them weren't hardened criminals. A lot of them lost their lives here. As the years went on, we were known for no one escaped here. We were in these mountains. It was known as the end of the line, because no one could get out, one way in, one way out. That's when they started sending the hardened criminals in. If they couldn't handle them somewhere, they were sent here. These men built the railroad in here. They built highways in here. We really had some of the worst in here. Brutal killings and stuff that went on. I think a lot of them seen more than soldiers would see in a war zone in here. It was brutal.
This institution here is the worst place on earth. They perpetrating murders up here.
James Earl Ray, he was sent here for the killing of Martin Luther King. He always said I could say I did it and live and be put in prison, or I could tell the truth and they'd kill me. There was 12 of us in the cafeteria one night. It seemed like we had made something angry and we couldn't really figure out why. You hear on our recorders a man clearly say, "No, watch this." And when that happens, that light comes back on, and at the end of that beam, you see a perfect silhouette of a man standing there. And he walked down the entire length of the cafeteria in front of us. So that was probably one of the coolest things. All 12 of us had that experience that night. Probably the only time I've ever left the property. We were on the 3rd floor in the auditorium. I was with her. And I kept seeing this shadow beside the steps. and there was a light coming out from it. So I was trying to figure out where this light was coming from. And I thought it was from the back half of the prison, but as I got closer, I realized what I was looking at was the front of the prison. And so the light was coming out into the hallway, and this thing steps out about 3 foot tall, but it was like bent over, and its legs were bent. It had a hump in its back and its arms dangled. And and I don't know if I was looking at something that maybe had been whipped to the point of deform, like they had claimed these men were, but whatever, inside of me, everything in me told me to get out of there, and so I did.
And I could tell by the look on her face she was seeing something. It's like everything in me is saying, we need to leave. And so I said, well, then let's go. And so we got out, but it was odd that the Ovilus and the app on the phone both were saying, get out.
The cemetery, that's kind of special to all of us. Sorry. These men, they didn't have family. No one claimed them. Little boy who stole bread, he was probably hungry, And when you look in our records, and they were logged in, a lot of them says family unknown. There's nobody. So no one claimed them, and they're here, and somebody's unmarked their graves, and we're just marking them back. Right now we're over 700, and we think they'll be well over 2,000. We also had a crematory, they used a crematory, so there's 17 men still in a coal mine just outside our wall.
Didn't bother to dig them out. They just left them and dug a new entrance to the mine and just dug around them and left them there.
When I started coming in here in 2009, we would come in and we would get stuff, and sometimes we'd provoke and, do whatever. And finally, we came in one night and thought, well, let's just take a different approach to this. And we came in and said, hey, tell us your story. If you will tell us your story, we make you a promise we will get your story out there. We'll make it known. And when we did that, it was like everything just turned around in here, and it was just like everyone had something to say, and we would just leave sometimes, and we'd just sit in the parking lot and just stare at this prison we would be exhausted from just so much activity all the time. It was just endless, and I don't know. Yeah, so we made that promise, and we're trying to stick to it.
So there could literally be thousands of bodies.
Yes.
And I believe
throughout this property.
there's probably mass graves also.
We just found 3 behind the wall. How long ago was that? Like 3 weeks ago, maybe. Tops. There's 3 graves behind the wall.
Do you feel, being a female, that you guys get more activity here versus male groups?
I do feel that. I do feel
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, definitely.
I just got touched.
Oh, did you?
Yes, my leg. I thought it was my phone vibrating, and I don't even have it. No, right here.
Being female.
Yeah, I did.
Before my brothers and I began our investigation, we wanted to tour Brushy Mountain Prison so we could see all the active areas throughout the prison.
I had another friend standing about where you're at, and somebody had asked a question, and I heard this, and it was really loud. It was like it was between me and him. This is man just, hey, like a really strong voice, like a really enforceful voice, like you imagine a guard or something. When somebody's making those, like, hey, So that was the first experience. I saw a shadow figure in this first cell over here as well. The lady that was in there said she saw something in the corner and stuck her hand out, and about that time the shadow rose up from the floor to her hand and went back.
You know what's quite crazy, Josh, is when we
came in and George talked to us up here, and then we came down here. That was the only cell I walked into, was that one.
Since the hole is a separate building away from the main prison complex, we have decided to leave Trigger alone in the hole.
Thought you heard a whistle?
Yeah,
I thought I did too, but I wasn't saying
it was back when you guys
when we were talking just then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that too.
So what did you see in here?
I was standing over here where the lunch line starts, and I was focused my camera back towards this back wall. And in between these two columns, you see this. Right after we hear like what sounds like a cell door slam in a man's voice, at that same time, simultaneously, you see this shadow figure just move between the columns, and it was just all hunched over, and its arms was hanging down. It's pretty unnerving to see, really, when you look at the footage.
Did you hear that? Did I hear something?
It's back here.
Huh?
It's back here. Yay.
What did you hear?
Sounded like something being drugged. Did you all not hear that?
This is where I had my experience. It actually formed down here, and it walked down the middle of this room here. It had a spotlight back here on this back column facing this direction, and you could hear it clicking. And so it clicked on. The beam came down this way, and this apparition was right here, and it just walked down the length of the room into the darkness. The one she's talking about was the night we played the Cherokee music. Yeah. That it formed in the middle of the room and walked the length of it. Yeah.
We were all sitting here in a circle. Guy was over there, and it was pitch dark in here. And that's when I saw the shadow standing right in front of him.
We're seeing a light form back in the cage area. I'm glad you saw that, because I'm like, okay. I don't know if you can see the red lights.
Mm-hmm.
To the right of them, it was just like this ball of light was manifesting just now. As they were talking about things happened back there, it happened. Can you do that again for us?
Let's walk back to the kitchen.
Yeah. I was actually standing here when I saw that shadow figure. Yeah. Did he lock it? Yeah. Yeah, it was probably, couldn't tell you the depth of it, but it was definitely something on this home.
Did you hear her? Yeah. It's back there. The same that I heard earlier. It's back here. Oh, it's back here. There's keys for that one. Ooh. Something just said, get out. Go in. You want me out of here? Are you trying to hide from me?
It's behind me. Oh my,
Whoa, it's shadow.
what was that ding?
Oh my God.
What was that ding? Did you hear that?
Yeah.
What?
Jesus. Dude, there was another, oh my God, I see another shadow. freaking blocked out this freaking light. It like came out of the cell. Something's dragging. Where the hell is it at?
I don't know. Holy shit, do you hear that? That moan?
Okay, this is gonna be really weird.
Sound like something just popped its finger.
No, something just said your name.
Something just scooted behind me.
I'm telling you, I just heard something say Rocky. It sounded like it was behind you.
Can you come out here? Can you tell me your name? Lou, is one of your cells? When I was walking back,
Yeah.
you guys was like way out. But it ran down the inside of the courtyard.
Oh my God, you don't understand how scary this is. Somebody back there with me?
You can come up to us.
Can you touch one of us?
Illuminating back here that we saw. It looked like it's kind of out right in the middle, but straight in front of me where I'm standing now. It just illuminated, and it did it twice I saw.
There's no way to get back there. I think what we'll do is we'll put a camera back here facing this big room.
Yeah. And you can have one looking back in here through the bars if you can't get it open.
Yeah.
I always was fascinated by the eagle on the wall over there. It's like the ultimate symbol of freedom when, you know, they'd be walking through the line.
Can't tell if it's in its return or...
If you're back there, could you please move something for us? We would like to see you. Picking up like a male voice in my audio. But it's like off in the distance.
It's back that way, Josh.
I heard it for a second.
Yeah, it's back over there where me and Rocky was.
Can you come in here with us, please? Nobody's walking, are they?
No, you hear the footsteps, don't you?
I thought I'd seen something over there towards the right, Josh.
It almost sounded as if it was walking this way.
Over by that exit sign, over there to the right. Are you over there where me and Rocky was? Can you shut one of them doors? Did you hear that? Sound like a Mel's voice.
Similar to the voice we heard before I caught the shadow figure in here.
Are you trying to talk to us?
Where's the what was it, subblock D?
D block's in another building. It's in the building out to the
Auditorium's upstairs.
Okay, let's go to the auditorium, and then, that's what I like about these places like this, is when you hear footsteps, you can clearly hear them and tell that they're in there with you. What'd you say?
I didn't say anything. Did you hear something?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Did you ask what I said?
We'll have to mark that.
He thought he heard something.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. Pretty crazy.
This is where I'm selling those clothes to.
I feel like it's gonna be a good night.
Did you hear, Josh?
What?
When I was coming through here, it said wait.
Now this is where I'm selling those clothes one night only. I don't know, is this cell block here?
And then here?
Let's go back here, Rocky, because I can't, with everybody talking, it's gonna be hard to. What in the hell? I thought that was water.
Yeah.
You don't see a wet spot, do you? Something cuts my shoulder right there.
Oh, it's like the difference in,
But it's not even wet.
uh,
I thought it was like a drip.
This is where, so we were getting the get out. We were back in the hospital area, but we had came in here and I kept hearing something out in the hallway where we just came from. And so I walked over to that hall and I was looking down, and that's where I was seeing the movement. And we went back down that hallway, and that's when I seen that, I don't know what it was, but the hunched over, kangaroo-legged thing. I don't know what it was, but yeah. We also get a creeper back here. He comes out of that door over there. He's been seen on his belly. He comes out of the door. We get a lot of activity from this corner over here on this stage. But there were several in here that had their throats cut during when they would show movies in here. Before the auditorium this was all one big hospital ward. So for years this was hospital. So there's no telling what all you're gonna get back here. There is a big tall shadow figure that stands in this doorway back here that's been caught on video. There was a guy here that was standing up here recording, and as he panned the room, he didn't see it at the time either, but I think he was live at the time, wasn't he? And people were commenting on his feed that the shadow figure was there. So as he went back and watched the playback, it was clearly there.
Oh, and that's where I was sitting, and whatever it was pulled my hair. I was sitting kind of against that wall. So I wonder if I mean, it had to like come from that hallway.
Okay, cell block D.
Yeah, you wanna go to it?
Yep.
Okay.
Am I saying that right?
Yeah. D block.
D block.
This up here doesn't even look creepy, you know, it just looks.
Let's try walking to D block without any experiences. How about that?
And of course, this cell walk right out here is where we get the cigarette, one of the cigarette smoke.
Now, this is the one that all the
Now,
doors
this
slam
door,
shut.
This is how you'll go to the hospital, what's left of the hospital, this door will take you there.
I'm already lost, so.
You can't get lost in here, you're just like a circle.
It's easier to walk around here when you're not filming, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Crazy thing is, it's just as creepy outside as it is inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was in this block here all the way to the far back, and I was completely alone in the building, and it sounded like heavy footsteps walking back and forth upstairs. So I decided to go investigate, so I go upstairs, and it's just like this here. You have this threshold that goes into the circular block. As I stepped through that threshold, that was when it was like I walked into a wall. I couldn't breathe. My vision got blurry, and it felt like something had me. It felt like it had a hold of me. It was fight or flight, so I had to just get out of the building for a while because I'd never been overcome like that before. It felt as if something really, really bad was about to happen, and I just had to get out. And that had never happened to me before that. And it really just, it unnerved me a lot when it happened because that was very real. And, you know, it's something that you don't see on camera, but it really, you know, it was more of like a physical attack. You know, it did not want, whatever was there did not want me up there that night. And it was much like tonight, the floors were all wet, it was the same scenario. But yeah, that was my experience. And I do hear a lot. Down here, you hear a lot of footsteps upstairs. I think a lot of people's had that experience.
Mm-hmm. So walk with me. You thought it was locked, didn't you, John? Let's see. Now this hasn't been cleaned up, so.
And I was standing right there, and it overcome me so hard. My next move was I just got out. I mean, I was having a hard time breathing, everything by the time I got out of this building. It was pretty bad.
This area does have a heavier feel to it.
Like right now, it just feels heavy in here. Like I feel it a lot.
We did have a psychic that came in here once and that told us that a door had been opened in there that needed to be closed. Somebody was doing things that they shouldn't have been doing, so I don't know. It's just, it is a heavy place. So a lot of the people that would have had mental disorders and stuff would have been in here. A lot of the problems, the worst of the worst, the ones that were the problems were in here. So there's no telling really what else happened in here.
Most people that were housed don't even want to come back in here.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, a lot of the inmates that was housed in here, if they come back for our day tours, they won't even come back in this building because of the things they've seen and heard while housed in here. So that's true.
You might want to look down that hallway right now, look in that door. Something just, when she was talking, something was standing right there.
We do get a
Almost.
shadow figure right there a lot.
He was standing right where you're at, darted in.
Rocky, bring your light up here. This is a deep hallway, just shine it down there. If we scared you, we didn't mean to. be back up here a little bit later. So hopefully you can come out and talk to us and let us see you. Keep your light down that way, Rocky. I want to check something on this door. They definitely get a creepier feeling back here. Rocky, just stay back there. What's on the other side of this door?
It's locked.
Oh Jesus, that about scared the shit out of me.
Hey, Josh.
Looked like a face in the door.
Hey, Josh.
What?
Why'd you ask Rocky or tell him to stay back here?
I thought he was walking behind me.
No.
Somebody laugh?
No.
No.
Have to mark that on here. Sound like a kid or a girl laughed. It's crazy how you can move from building to building and get different energy.
Yeah.
We'll go back and look at that. It doesn't look like a face was like in that doorway. It could have just been.
So did you hear footsteps behind you? Because there was nobody walking behind you.
I thought Rocky was walking with me. Okay, well now it's setup time.
It looks like a sauna. It is very.
We gotta remember how to get back up here, Rocky.
It's tricky.
It works on that one.
I feel like I just walked into a spider web.
So Sean, you gonna go to that deep walk by yourself?
Upstairs? I went back that freaking one tunnel on the backside where the little pipes are, and I was back there by myself. And then I turn around, you guys are all fucking heading downstairs. But then, I don't know, we need to test that door. Because me and her, we was out there and heard two bangs. But I'm not sure, it may have been that door, but did you guys shut that door twice downstairs? Because it does got springs on it, and I'm not.
And then after we do the building, we'll do the yard, and then we'll go back. I wanna run an EVP session back at the
Dude,
top.
seriously, gotta watch snakes.
She said there's poisonous snakes in here too.
Yeah.
In here?
Yeah.
They had a copperhead in here today or yesterday.
After wrapping up our tour of the prison, my brothers and I will set up all of our cameras and alarms and begin our investigation of Brushy Mountain State Penitentiary.
Finally nighttime, so we're gonna get ready to start with the investigation. We put Trigger down in the hole, which is a building over. So hopefully Trigger's getting some activity by himself. We're gonna put some alarms here. Just doing the walkthrough, we were getting all kinds of stuff, hearing voices, footsteps. We should go up to the cafeteria and put an alarm up there, because that's where they've had the shadow. You guys wanna do that?
Yeah.
We get in here, I'll shut this off.
Whenever you guys went to go do that talk with George, and I had to go move the van, well, I didn't know where the hell you guys went. So I walked around every one of these cells. And I got into here, and this was the first time walking in here, and I got, yep, there.
Something was walking in the
That's
light.
what I heard.
What is back here?
Cells.
Look, it was walking through this, that's what I heard.
Yeah.
Hello. My name is Josh, this is Rocky and Sean. We're here to talk to you tonight. We're here to talk to you tonight. We're here to talk to you tonight. Can you see or hear us? Thank you for coming in here. Were you a prisoner here? We just came here to talk to you tonight and share your story with the rest of the world. Was that you? Put your arm out. You feel that? It's like I'm surrounded by coldness right here. Are you by us right now?
I just had a cold breeze down by me.
I got goosebumps.
Whoa, Josh, right before you said anything, there was another voice.
Let's go up to that kitchen area where they see those shadows and put an alarm up there. So in this kitchen, several investigators have caught shadows. Probably some of the best evidence I've ever seen. Almost reminds me of the shadow, that figure that we caught in West Virginia. Hello? That was loud. We're lost. Can you come help us? It's like a male voice, or like
It's like a doorbell.
Okay, I'll tell you what. Who's got that alarm?
That's the alarm.
So we're trying to set up alarms all over this place, but we keep hearing things, so we get sidetracked. So we set up alarms in there that are motion detected, so if something moves in that room, hopefully it'll set the alarm off. I know you've had a lot of groups in here, people in here with equipment. Whoa. That's above us. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. You could hear it thumping.
On the next episode, my brothers and I will continue our investigation of the infamous Brushy Mountain Prison, where we document some of our most compelling paranormal evidence.